Tonight's meeting of the Metropolitan Nashville and Davidson County Council is coming to you live from the council chambers and is a public affairs presentation of the Metro Nashville Network. Good evening, everyone. I'm Pat Nolan, your announcer for this program. Tonight, the 15th Metropolitan Council holds its 10th business meeting of the new term, its 4th meeting of this calendar year 2020. The meeting has a 14-page agenda, beginning with elections and confirmations, a public comment period, resolutions totaling 3 pages. The agenda also includes just over 2 pages on first reading bills, about 2 pages on second reading bills, and over 7 pages on readings on bills on third and final reading. One resolution of note is RS 2020-208. It may foreshadow some of the council's debate about the next budget and a potential tax increase fight coming up this spring and summer. The measure memorializing only by Councilman Steve Glover, expressing the council's intent to support Mayor Cooper to protect taxpayer dollars and focus government resources on public safety and improving schools resources. But the resolution does have language saying, quote, new revenues cannot be the only answer to addressing the needs of the city, which has some council members concerned about that. Apparently alternative language has not been able to be worked out, so the bill will be indefinitely deferred tonight. That debate will be another time. Another sign of the tough budget ahead, the council is looking at raising fees for more funds. Already we've seen increased water rates, higher parking fines, and building permits already approved. Tonight the council will look at a number of different pieces of legislation, higher fees to hold carnivals, have large fireworks shows, and handle hazardous materials. Under permits you get from the fire marshal. Under another bill, fee developers would pay not to build sidewalks. That fee will go up. Also, beer permits for bars and restaurants would also go up under legislation tonight if the state goes along. Not big bucks being raised, but every little bit helps in that regard. Another debated topic was scheduled to be BL 2019-109. It would be deferred indefinitely. The measure was, again, for the council to take up regulating scooters or shared urban mobility devices. That does not appear to be ready at this point, so again, it will be deferred perhaps indefinitely. On third reading, the council will take up a bill that appears ready to vote on tonight. It's a long-time hot-button issue of short-term rentals. The bill would set up a new zoning or no short-term rentals for almost all different zoning districts. Not everyone, but just a lot of them. The ordinance would not rezone anybody's property. It would not restrict anyone's use of the property. Currently, it would just set up a future district for no short-term rentals for future rezoning. Still, there has been controversy about it. The bill passed after a public hearing and debate 2 weeks ago. The bill needs 21 votes tonight to pass. It's hard to tell if they had 21 votes. It passed on second reading last time on a voice vote, but supporters do feel like they will have the 21 votes tonight. Another bill on second reading that will be deferred tonight, in fact, deferred until July, would prohibit Metro from entering a new contract or renewing an existing contract with a private contractor to manage any of Metro's detention facilities. This is a bill that would have quite a bit of cost and some other issues creating controversy. Certainly the operator for that Core Civic has sent a letter protesting and opposing this. Again, the council wants more time to look at this. It's being deferred off until July. A couple of bills tonight that also concern the recent controversy at the fairgrounds about the MLS stadium. One would limit the ability of the mayor to stop such projects by refusing to sign demolition documents, which Mayor John Cooper did for 4 months until this past week's settlement with the MLS team owners. In light of that, this would limit his abilities. You might expect the bill on first reading would be withdrawn by sponsor Scobey Sledge, but he tells me he plans to move the bill tonight on first reading. Another MLS-related bill is one that's been up several times before the council. Bill number BL 2020-115. It would require a security plan to be approved near a stadium or an arena or a racetrack, and also would require a security plan that's also been approved by city officials. This bill, again, because of the agreement that's been made, you might think it's not going to happen, but Steve Glover tells me tonight he is going to seek to move the bill on third reading. One last bill of note on second reading, BL 2020-162. Under the measure, vaping would be prohibited within 50 to 200 feet of all hospital entrances and all hospital-related facilities in Davidson counties. Violators would be fined up to $50 if cited by a police officer and then found guilty in General Sessions Court. The primary benefit of the ordinance would be to allow hospital facilities to put up signage that vaping near entrances is a violation of local law, as is smoking right now. By the way, if you'd like to follow tonight's meeting as it progresses, you can find the council agenda as well as the council staff analysis of the meeting. Just go to the Metro Council portion of the Nashville.gov website and then go to the Legislative Information Center. We're placing bill numbers also on the screen tonight when they come up for consideration so you can follow along and keep up with where we are on the meeting agenda. Let's now go to Vice Mayor Jim Shulman. He is about to start tonight's meeting with tonight's youth guest.
So it's interesting that we now get applause based upon how loud the gavel hits the... So will the meeting please come to order? We welcome you to the Metro Council. Today is Tuesday, February 18th, 2020. We're getting a little bit of a late start, but we had some good presentations. Will all members of the council, as well as the public, please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Invocation this evening will be offered by Council Member Robert Swope.
Thank you, Your Honor. Tonight I quote from Poet Laureate Alden Solovey. Please bow. God of history, we yearn for conscious leadership, for men and women of inspiration and insight, visionaries to build nations and communities in your image. Stewards dedicated to justice, unafraid to face the challenges of our day, so that our cities, states, and nation resonate with compassion and health, justice and mercy, kindness and peace. Bless our leaders with dedication and foresight, fortitude and imagination to solve the complex issues that threaten our future. May we lead to a time when neighbors embrace and communities thrive, a time when liberty and equality reign supreme. Grant safety and security to all nations and communities so that truth and harmony will resound from the four corners of the earth. Let the light of wisdom shine brightly in the halls of power, a beacon of hope for every land and every people. In his name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So you may be seated, ladies and gentlemen. The meeting was gavelled into session by Austin Neese, who just completed becoming an Eagle Scout. And there's also so much more. He also just delivered over 3,000 books to Sheriff Darren Hall to replenish the libraries at the detention facilities in Davidson County. He started with 300, that was his goal, and he got over 3,000 books. He is also the Scout of the Year for the Middle Tennessee area. And his mother, Michelle, is out in the audience taking pictures in the back. Thank you, Austin Neese, for being here with us today. All right, without objection, we will suspend the calling and the roll and ask the clerk to record the names of those members present throughout the meeting. Is there a motion for adoption of the minutes? February 4th, 2020. There's a motion properly seconded. Without objection, the minutes of the meeting will stand approved as written. Madam Clerk, are there any messages from the mayor?
No, Mr. Vice Mayor, there are no messages from the mayor.
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. So actually 4 announcements before we go into elections and confirmations. A big reminder, the presidential preference primary and the county primary elections will be Tuesday, March 3rd, 2020. So the reason I bring that up is that our next meeting is actually on Thursday, March 5th, 2020. We moved because there's an election on Tuesday, March 3rd. So please remember, vote Tuesday, March 3rd, 2020. Early voting is going on right now. Here's the schedule. Through Tuesday, February 25th, you can vote early at the Howard Office Building, located at 700 2nd Avenue South. All other early voting locations will be open tomorrow, Wednesday, February the 19th, and stay open until Tuesday, February 25th. So Howard Office Building is open. All other early voting locations will be open starting tomorrow on the 19th. Stay open until Tuesday, February 25th. Those locations all open at 8 a.m. on those days, but have different closing times. If you need to check with the Election Commission on their website or call 615-862-8800. Councilmember Welch and her committee spent a lot of time working on how to get people to vote. So we want people to go to the polls. Please vote. We also have some countywide budget meetings starting next Tuesday. Councilmember Mendez and Toombs have organized a series of budget discussions with folks from all over the county. Please attend when possible and invite your constituents to attend. The first three are as follows. Tuesday, February 25th from 6 o'clock until 7:30 at the Northwest Family YMCA at 3700 Ashland City Highway. The next one is Wednesday, February 26th from 6:30 to 8:30 at the Smith Springs Community Center, 2801 Smith Springs Road. And the third is Wednesday, March 4th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at Studio 615 at 272 Broadmoor Drive. I'll announce the rest of them at the next council meeting. But again, these are important meetings for you to come. Thank you for Councilmember Mendez and Toombs working these out. Again, Tuesday, February 25th from 6 until 7:30 at the Northwest Family YMCA. Wednesday, February 26th from 6:30 to 8:30 at the Smith Springs Community Center. And Wednesday, March 4th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at Studio 615 at 272 Broadmoor Drive. The other thing I'll mention is that the school board started last night with their own set of budget meetings around the city. They have three more. Monday, February 24th at McGavick High School. Wednesday, February 26th at Hillwood High School. And Thursday, February 27th at IT Crestwell Middle School. Those meetings will run from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Councilmember Mendez? Hold on. Okay.
When we have our next council meeting, is Budget and Finance still going to be on Monday?
Yes, so that's a good question. So Councilmember Mendez asked about whether Budget and Finance, because our meeting will be on Thursday and not Tuesday, will Budget and Finance meet on Monday? So the answer is yes. That's a good question. Mr. Cooper, what about the other committees?
The other committee, Affordable Housing, would meet on Monday if that committee has business. All others will be on Thursday.
Okay. Any questions about that? If you come on election night that Tuesday, you'll be sitting in here by yourself. Okay. So remember to come back on Thursday. Two more things. I see our trustee, Mr. Parker Toller, in the back. I just want to recognize him for being here. Mr. Toller, thank you for being here. And also wanted to make sure that we recognized, just learned this, Councilmember Nancy Van Rees, who was honored this week at Nashville Business Journal, a Woman of Distinction Award. Congratulations. All right. So on to elections and confirmations. Is there a report from the Rules Committee? Councilmember Rosenberg, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. First up, we had the Employee Benefits Study and Formulating Committee, the appointments of Mr. Nick Brassel, Ms. Trish Holliday, Mr. Cleo Rucker, and Ms. Kim Stagg. The fifth person, Mr. Chapman, is being deferred. And we voted to approve those appointments, 5 in favor, none against, and I move approval.
So I have a motion to approve. This is Mr. Nick Brassel, Ms. Trish Holliday, Mr. Cleophas Rucker, and Ms. Kim Stagg, correct? That's the motion, properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. Back to you, Councilmember Rosenberg.
Thank you, Mr. President. We also had the Work Release Commission, the appointment of Ms. Madeline Whitaker for a term expiring January 1st, 2024. Voted 5 in favor of approval, none against, and move approval.
All right, so there's a motion to approve Ms. Madeline Whitaker for the Work Release Commission, properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. So that completes the elections and confirmations. If you will stand, if you're still here, so that we can properly recognize you and just remain standing when I call your name. This is for the Employee Benefit Study and Formulating Committee. Mr. Nick Brassel. Oh, you all stood up at the same time. Now we can't know who you are. All right, so everybody has to sit down except for Mr. Nick Brassel. So the next individual is a very good friend of mine, Ms. Trish Holliday. Obviously, she didn't follow the rules by standing up at the very beginning. So Trish Holliday, Mr. Cleophas D. Rucker. Mr. Rucker, thank you. And Ms. Kim Stagg, please stand. All right, and then Ms. Madeline Whitaker for the Work Release Commission. There you are. Now, please join me in thanking them for their service. All right, now that I think all the pictures are done in the back, we're ready to move on. We now move to the public comment period. This is the time dedicated to allow members of the general public who have registered in advance to speak on issues relevant to Nashville and Davidson County. We have 2 individuals that have signed up tonight. If they will please come forward, you will have 2 minutes to address the body. The first individual is Susan Hudson, who is from District 11, Councilmember Larry Hager's district, 1004 Fowler Street. Ms. Hudson, you are recognized. You've got 2 minutes. Thank you.
And Susan Hudson McBride is actually my name.
Okay.
The city's concern for all our welfare should include the people with the fewest resources. A lot of those folks are locked up in facilities run by people whose bottom line is what they can do for their shareholders. If we do anything at all regarding who we work with, let's exclude the people whose priorities are their bottom line over people's welfare and safety. Our council must refuse to engage our city in any business transactions with shareholder-based contractors such as CoreCivic for financial and ethical reasons. Sheriff Darren Hull argued that the difference of opinion is based on ideology, but that's far from the case. CoreCivic is ruining lives, and we don't need to be complicit.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Hudson. I will say we typically don't talk about bills that are before us tonight, but I believe this bill is going to be deferred. So anyway, next individual is Ms. Sophia Hunter from District 24, Kathleen Murphy's district, 4006 Nebraska Avenue. Ms. Hunter, you're recognized.
Okay, thank you. Hello, my name is Sophia Hunter, and I'm an 8th grade student at Rose Park Middle. I was sent as a representative from the Encore group at my school to speak on air pollution. Our group has been focusing our semester project on air quality in Nashville. We've done research, and some of the stuff we have learned is shocking. For example, the number of Tennessee students diagnosed with asthma has increased by 81% since 2005 to a number of above 82,000 Tennessee students. You may be wondering why a young student is worried about air pollution. My answer is that I shouldn't be. I shouldn't have to be concerned about the air I must breathe, yet here I am. To address this issue, my Encore group and I partnered with Nashville Breeze, a program dedicated to informing Nashville about its air quality and how to act according to this. We have also joined their new air quality flag program to inform our Edgehill community about the local air quality daily. We made a presentation about air pollution in Nashville and showed it to our school and members from the American Lung Association and the Metro Public Health Department. We've even created a piece of art displaying our concerns about air pollution made out of a product called Air Ink, a marker which has ink made from captured carbon emissions. I encourage you to do whatever you can to help. Our group has become aware of the opposition to the no idling bill proposed by Ms. Tanya Hancock, We have even heard that emission testing might be put to an end in Nashville and other areas of Tennessee. I'm here to ask you to continue to protect our air quality by supporting both the idling control and emissions testing. For all the work my group has done, yes, but also for the children. We are most affected by the pollution. Our lungs are still growing, and whatever condition you leave this earth in, we must face. We together must do whatever we can to change our habits to adapt to a growing Nashville before it's too late. Thank you, and if you have any questions for me, feel free to ask afterwards. Thank you.
So, Ms. Hunter, if you will stay for just a second, Hannah Zeitlin of our office is going to come back and get your information. The fact that you showed up and talked about something important to you is important to us. We are always looking for young people who actually are concerned about what's happening in the city. So we may put you to some type of use in the near future on a committee, okay? That's the bad thing about showing up.
Oh, well, thank you, and I love that. Thank you.
All right,
Yes.
all right. All right, so we move on to items on the consent agenda and other resolutions. So I'm going to go through the resolutions that are on the consent agenda and the ones that are not. So let's see, if you're following me on page 1, Resolution RS 2020-196 on the consent agenda, 197 on, 198, 199, 200, 201 on the consent agenda, 202 is not. 203 is on the consent agenda, 204, 205, 206, 207 on the consent agenda, 208 and 209 are not. 210 and 211 are on the consent agenda. Does anything need to be bumped? Councilmember Rosenberg?
Thank you, Mr. President. I need to abstain on 211, please.
All right, so we're going to bump that. So 211 is also bumped as well, okay? Anything else? All right, so Ms. Zeitlin, thank you. She's back there working hard. Okay, so I'm going to go through, I'm going to read through the captions on the consent agenda, and then on the bills that were pulled, on the resolutions that were pulled, we'll go back to those. Resolution RS 2020-196 by Councilmember Mendez. Resolution authorizing the Metropolitan Department of Law to compromise and settle the personal injury claim of Daryl Mintlow against the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County in the amount of $20,000, said amount to be paid out of the Judgments and Losses Fund, RS 2020-197 by Mendez and Pulley. Resolution approving a modification to the Fire Marshal's Office fee schedule. Resolution RS 2020-198, Mendez, Hurt, and Welsh. Resolution appropriating funds from the United States Department of Health and Human Services to the Metropolitan Action Commission to support the Head Start program by funding a comprehensive child development program for disadvantaged children. RS 2020-199 by Mendez, Hurt, and Welsh. Resolution approving Amendment 6 to a contract with Vanderbilt University Medical Center and the Metropolitan Government acting by and through the Metropolitan Board of Health to participate as a member site in the Centers for Disease Control, Tuberculosis Epidemiologic Studies Consortium Studies. Resolution RS 2020-200 by Mendez, Hager, and others. Resolution accepting a grants package from the Friends of Warner Park to the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, acting by and through the Metropolitan Board of Parks and Recreation to provide continued funding of staff positions. Resolution RS 2020-201, also by Mendez, Hager, and others. Resolution accepting a grant from the Friends of Warner Parks to the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, acting by and through the Metropolitan Board of Parks and Recreation to provide Wi-Fi and a copier for the Warner Parks headquarters. Resolution RS 2020-203 by Councilmember Mendez. Resolution authorizing the Metropolitan Department of Law to compromise and settle the personal injury claim of Ramiro Mandujano against the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County in the amount of $32,250, said amount to be paid out of the Self-Insured Liability Fund. We're now on page 3, Resolution RS 2020-204 by Evans, Mendez, and others. Resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement by and between the State of Tennessee, Department of Transportation, and the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through its Department of Public Works for the reimbursement of railroad crossing safety improvements at Andrew Jackson Parkway, railroad crossing number 348692G. Resolution RS 2020-205 by O'Connell, Murphy, and Henderson. Resolution authorizing 300 Broadway LLC to construct and install an aerial encroachment at 300 Broadway. Resolution RS 2020-206 by O'Connell, Murphy, and Henderson. Resolution authorizing Parker Restaurant Group LLC to construct and install an aerial encroachment at 201 First Avenue South. Resolution RS 2020-207 by Van Rees and Murphy and others. Resolution honoring Nashville African-American suffragists, including Dr. Maddie E. Coleman, Natty Leinster Napier, and J. Frankie Pierce, who successfully fought for the vote for women. And then we're on page 4, Resolution RS 2020-210 by Councilmember Pulley. A resolution expressing the Metropolitan Council's support for Senate Bill 2484, House Bill 1645, currently pending before the Tennessee General Assembly, which in part authorizes local governments to set fee amounts for beer permits and privilege taxes on beer. Those are the items on the consent agenda. Anything needs to be bumped? If not, we will go to reports from committees, Budget and Finance. Councilmember Mendez.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. The Budget and Finance Committee voted 10 in favor and 0 against the following resolutions. RS 2020-196, 197, 198, 199, 200, 201, 203, 204, and 210.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Hart, Health and Hospitals.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. The Health, Hospitals, and Social Services Committee voted 4 in favor and 0 against for Resolution 2020-198 and Resolution 2020-199. If I could just take a privilege to mention that I received the report from Healthy Nashville. That was a committee that had been appointed by the mayor, looking to identify some issues for the community to address in the next 3 years. They came up with 5 systems: access and coordination of resources, addressing basic needs and social determinants, support mental health and reduce toxic stress, access to affordable health care, and equity. So I just wanted to mention the CHIP, and we've similarly received proposals from Metro General, Meharry, and I would really love to see all of these people come together and work together so we can have a healthy Nashville for all.
That's what we want. Thank you, Councilmember Hart. Councilmember Hager, you're recognized for Parks, Library, and Arts.
Parks and Libraries passed 6-4-0 again.
For 2020-200 and 201? Correct. Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
What? Say it again.
Sorry, that's correct.
That's right. Okay, thank you. Planning and Zoning, Councilmember Murphy, you're recognized.
Thank you. We, Resolution 2020-202, 2020-204, 2020-205, 2020-206 were all 15 in favor and 0 against.
All right, thank you, Councilmember. Public Safety, Councilmember Johnston.
Public Safety, Beer, and Regulated Beverages Committee voted 8 in favor, 0 against for the following: RS 2020-197 and RS 2020-210.
All right, thank you. Public Works, Councilmember Henderson.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. The Public Works Committee considered Resolution 204, 205, and 206 and recommended approval for them all, 11 in favor, 0 against.
All right, thank you. And Councilmember Rosenberg, Rules and Confirmations.
Thank you, Mr. President. On 207, we voted to approve 4 in favor, none against, and I move approval of the consent agenda.
All right, so I got a motion to approve all the items on the consent agenda. Do I have a second? Properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. Okay, so we're now back on resolutions that were bumped off the consent agenda. I'm going to go to Resolution RS 2020-202 by Councilmember Mendez, Murphy, and others. This is a resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement by and between the State of Tennessee Department of Transportation and the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, acting by and through the Metropolitan Department of Public Works for signal maintenance for I-440 traffic operational deployment of Bluetooth Spectra power over Ethernet data collection devices. Councilmember Mendez, you're recognized.
Budget and Finance recommended approval, 10 in favor, 0 against.
All right, I'm going to get some other committee reports. Planning and Zoning, Councilmember Murphy.
I'm sorry, I gave this on consent. It was 15 in favor, 0 against.
All right, thank you. Public Works, Councilmember Henderson.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Public Works recommended a one-meeting deferral, 11 in favor, 0 against.
Okay. And let me get traffic and parking, Councilmember O'Connell.
Sorry, I heard Councilmember Rosenberg sigh, and I had to stop to listen carefully for that. And I apologize for not being in my chair. We had a 4 in favor, 0 against vote for a one-meeting deferral.
All right, thank you. Back to Councilmember Mendez, you're recognized.
I move for a one-meeting deferral with a re-referral to all the committees.
Okay, so the request is a deferral for one meeting with a re-referral back to all the committees. It's properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. Councilmember Young, I would like for you to keep an eye on Councilmember O'Connell. There he goes again. We may need him at some point. All right. All right, he's over there. All right, the next one I've got is Resolution RS 2020-208 by Councilmember Glover. Resolution expressing the Metropolitan Council's intention to support Mayor Cooper's commitment to protect taxpayer dollars and focus the use of government resources on public safety and improvements to our school system. Councilmember Glover, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee report, please.
Councilmember Rosenberg, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. We voted to indefinitely defer at the request of the sponsor, 4 in favor, none against.
Okay, that was the Rules Committee. Back to you, Councilmember Glover.
Thank you. And I am going to move to indefinitely defer with a brief explanation.
All right, so...
I had a conversation downstairs late this afternoon. It's the first one I'd been able to have, and I want to continue working on a couple of areas in that arena. I'm certain everyone is hearing from folks all over town in their districts. I'm hearing from folks all over town, and they want us to be very clear as to what, the objectives will be as we go forward. So it may well be this comes back, but we'll take a look at it, and we'll continue hammering it out as we go through the budget cycle. Thank you.
So the motion is to defer indefinitely.
Defer indefinitely, yes, sir.
Properly seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion is approved. Resolution RS 2020-209 by Councilmember Nash. Resolution requesting the Davidson County delegation to the Tennessee General Assembly to support a change in state law to include stormwater utilities among the utilities covered under the Water and Wastewater Treatment Authority Act. Councilmember Nash, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee reports.
Public Works, Councilmember Henderson.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. The committee recommended a deferral of 2 meetings.
Okay.
11 in favor, 0 against.
All right, thank you. And rules and confirmations, Councilmember Rosenberg.
Thank you, Mr. President. Rules voted to defer 2 meetings at the request of the sponsor, 5 in favor, none against.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Nash, you're recognized.
I will make the motion to defer for 2 meetings with a brief explanation.
All right, I got a motion to defer 2 meetings, properly seconded. Back to you.
I want to clearly state on the front end what this is not. This is not me trying to get out of a utility training. I have brought my certificates. It was done. Secondly, it is not to create the water board. But certainly after the comptroller's taken us to the woodshed over the distressed water service and some of the other budget issues we've had in the past, I thought it was time for a good discussion of whether or not Metro should create a water board, which we're able to do by resolution according to state law. But the state law only allows for water and wastewater and doesn't have a provision currently for stormwater. So that's what led us to that issue, and we've had some state legislators working on that with me. Now, in that conversation, and that's the only way you get a conversation going here is to throw something in the hopper and see what comes back at you. The city currently is in such a state with cash flow that we need water services cash on hand to protect our bond ratings and our ability to get the tax notes from the state, tax anticipation notes, I'm sorry. So I will not be anytime soon, probably, I don't know if it'll do it in my term or not, because it's going to take us a while to get the city back in a cash position where that could even be discussed honestly and in the best interest of the city. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Nash. So we have a motion to defer 2 meetings. Again, it's been properly seconded. Anybody else? Nobody else in the queue? We're on a motion to defer 2 meetings. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. All right, and the last resolution we've got is the last one on the calendar. Page 4, Resolution RS 2020-211 by Councilmember Sepulveda, Young, and others. Resolution requesting the members of the Tennessee General Assembly to support legislation amending Tennessee Code Annotated Title 45, Chapter 15, the Tennessee Title Pledge Act. Councilmember Sepulveda, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee reports.
So I've got rules and confirmation. Councilmember Rosenberg.
Thank you, Mr. President. Rules voted to approve the resolution, 4 in favor, none against, with 1 abstention.
All right, thank you. Back to you, Councilmember Sepulveda. Oh, there you go.
So basically, what we're asking, and thanks to the help of Joda, who is here in the audience, and his organization, we're asking the Tennessee General Assembly to lower the interest rates for payday lenders. The state of Tennessee has one of the highest concentrations of payday lenders. We have more payday lenders than we have Walmarts and McDonald's combined. And they prey on low-income people, people who are making less than $40,000 a year, African Americans, Latinos, people without college degrees. And I think it's important that we take care of our people. We're not asking them to eliminate them. We're asking them to find a solution. Representative Yusuf Hakim has been talked to, and he's on board. Representative Darren Jernigan here in the Middle Tennessee delegation has also been on board with this. So I would encourage all of y'all to vote in favor of this. So with that, I move for approval.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve, properly seconded. Councilmember Suara.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I just want to go on record and speak in support of the resolution as well. I've seen what it can do to people. When I had my practice, people could cash a check for $3 at Walmart, but with one of these predatory lenders, it will cost them $300, $400. And not only that, people have lost their home and their cars due to this. So I wanted to encourage everyone to please vote in support. Again, this resolution is just asking that the state reduces the rates or the interest rate that is being charged on people. We still want people to be able to get a loan if they need it, but they don't have to pay everything for it. So I'm in support, and I'm asking everyone to vote in support as well.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Roberts, you're recognized.
I need to abstain from this vote, please.
Okay. Councilmember Porterfield.
Thank you so much, Vice Mayor. I just wanted to stand in support with Councilwoman Sepulveda, and thank you for your leadership for taking the initiative to bring this to the council and ask for the support of the body. Predatory lending is something that is running rampant within communities. I was spoken to by a constituent who had gotten into a financial situation a few years back, and they had to utilize a predatory lender, and they got caught in that cycle, and every 2 weeks they had to reborrow the money because they never had enough money to pay that entity back. So if you've never utilized this service, you borrow a set of money for a fee, and in 2 weeks when you get your direct deposit, they are paid back. But then if you don't have the money to pay your bills, you have to borrow that same money again. So they were caught in a cycle where they were paying a fee every 2 weeks just to get their paycheck back. And it took them a very extended amount of time to get out of that cycle. So I stand in support. And again, thank you, Councilwoman Sepulveda, for bringing this to the body.
All right, thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Vercher, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I need to be recorded as abstaining.
Okay. Okay. Councilmember Swope.
Please mark me as an abstention as well.
Okay. Councilmember O'Connell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I'd like to credit Councilmember Sepulveda for bringing this and raising the awareness of the issue. And given the topic, I think it's always a great opportunity to remind people that we have tremendous financial empowerment resources in Metro. Anybody, regardless of income, can request an appointment with a financial empowerment counselor. Just visit fec.nashville.gov. It is a great way a great tool for Metro to replace the number of predatory and payday lenders in Nashville and Davidson County with resources to help families and individuals build empowerment. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Nash, you're recognized.
I too applaud the raising of this issue. Recently read a book called Hillbilly Elegy by J.D. Vance that talks about when he was a young man, got out of the Marine Corps, and he was kind of living in hardtack town in the mountains, Appalachia, and found that sometimes the predatory lender was the only place he could get a loan to get from payday to payday, and thought it was rather elitist of some of us who might object to these things. So I want to make sure that if we go forward with this, that we will keep that available. I can understand trying to lower the interest rates, and can we be assured that the interest rates will not do away with these businesses that you're trying to establish?
Councilmember Nash, is that a question?
That's a question, yeah.
Okay.
Are we proposing something that won't necessarily shut these operations down? 'Cause sometimes they're the last resort for folks,
All right.
and still make it so that they're not trapped in this endless cycle.
So let me go to Councilmember Sepulveda.
Yeah, so similar resolutions have been passed in Memphis and Chattanooga. What we're asking is for the interest rate to be lowered. There have been examples such as Georgia where they lowered the interest rate to 35, 36, and that really brought that down, practically eliminating them. But the truth of the matter is many of them will say it's just for emergency cases. That's not the case at all. People use it to pay reoccurring bills. And I think 3/4 of the people who take out these loans take out 11 or more annually. So the goal of it is to lower the interest rate.
Councilmember Nash, any follow-up?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Johnston, you're recognized.
I need to abstain, please.
Okay. Councilmember Murphy?
Thank you. I think many of you know if you've had a resolution that similarly calls on the Tennessee General Assembly to support or oppose legislation that typically in the Rules Committee, I have taken issue with the way that we handle these types of legislation, this type of legislation, because I think that we need to have some kind of comprehensive reform on our resolutions and messages that we send to the General Assembly. This one is different, and I agreed to sign on to it because I feel that I have a moral obligation to help the least among us, and that I think just as we are calling these predatory lenders, that is what they are. They quite frequently are predatorily targeting the least among us, those who don't have the resources that the rest of us do. And so that is why I kind of broke from my usual criticism in Rules Committee and questioning of, have you talked to the bill sponsor, and have you talked to the committees, and have we talked to our own Nashville lobbyists? Because this piece of legislation and this issue goes beyond some of those regular council boundaries. This is touching on an issue that really truly is taking care of our neighbors and making sure that they are not preyed upon by people who are literally making their living taking advantage of them. And so I applaud the council lady for standing up and taking this on, because this isn't going to be easy. And you're in your first term, and you're early in your first term. And I guarantee you that, because I see their PAC donations when it comes through at the state legislature, I guarantee you that they're going to probably come after you when it comes to your reelection. And I'll be standing there next to you to help support you, because you're doing the right thing tonight, and I'm proud of you. And so I hope that my fellow council members who have not chosen to abstain tonight will vote in support of this, because at the end of the day, at least my feeling is that it is a moral obligation to stand up against those who are taking advantage of the least amongst us.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Glover, you're recognized.
I have to be marked as abstaining,
All right.
please.
Thank you. Okay. Councilmember Syracuse, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. As somebody last term who took this issue on and passed legislation that strengthened this locally here, and then defended that legislation all the way to the state State Court of Appeals, they almost went to the Supreme Court, and beat them, I fully support this. So thank you to Councilmember Sepulveda for bringing this forward.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Sledge, you're recognized.
Previous question.
Previous question has been called for. We're voting on the previous question, not the resolution. Previous question, all those in favor of the previous question say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Previous question prevails. So I'm going to clear off the board. What we're going to do is, because of the number of people who requested to be marked as abstaining, we're going to go on the board. Madam Clerk, can you put this up on the board? Okay. So we are voting on Resolution 2020-211. Madam Clerk, if you would, please open up the machines. I think we still got some people who haven't voted yet. Okay, that it? Madam Clerk, close machines, take the vote.
33 in favor, 6 abstentions.
Okay. Resolution RS 2020-211 passes. All right, we're now ready for bills on introduction and first reading. If there's no objection, we will consider all the ordinances on first reading in one vote at the same time. Anything need to be bumped? All right, seeing none, we'll take them all at the same time. Motion to approve. Got a motion to approve properly seconded. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt bills on introduction and first reading. We're now on page 6 of the calendar, bills on second reading. First one up is BL 2019-109 by Councilmembers O'Connell, Henderson, and Allen. Ordinance amending Chapter 12.62 of Title 12 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, and substitute ordinance number BL 2019-1658 regarding shared urban mobility devices. Councilmember O'Connell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to request committee reports, please.
All right, Public Works, Councilmember Henderson.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. The Public Works Committee recommended approval, 8 in favor, 0 against.
All right, thank you.
Or rather, no, I apologize. Looking in the wrong place. At the request of the sponsor, we voted for a 1-meeting deferral. Is that right, Councilman O'Connell? Thank you.
That is correct, Madam Chair.
All right, I'm sorry. And,
also 8 in favor, 0 against. Thank you.
that was just for emphasis. All right, Councilmember O'Connell, you're back for traffic and parking.
Yes, we also voted in favor of a 1-meeting deferral. I'd love to get a bang of the gavel for that because it was real. Thank you.
It's the best I can do for you.
And I would like to move for a 1-meeting deferral with a brief explanation.
Okay, so the motion is to defer 1 meeting. I believe that's the third time, so that's actually an indefinite deferral. Obviously, you can bring the bill measure back. So the motion is to defer, is it 1 meeting or?
1 meeting and then deferred by rules.
Okay, so so the motion is really to defer 1 meeting, but we understand it's a motion for an indefinite deferral by rule. Properly seconded. Back to you, Councilmember O'Connell.
Thank you, Mr. President. We do intend to bring this back as quickly as we can. The reason for the deferral is we had hoped in that 2-meeting deferral period to be able to get a public meeting together. That is now scheduled for Tuesday, February 25th. As I had mentioned in announcements, it is open to the public. Anybody with an interest in this issue is invited to attend. Basically, we're trying to create the space for the administration to really have an opportunity to explain to particularly urban residents how we've arrived at the framework for the RFP and just to get a little bit of input on that as well to make sure that it addresses concerns that the general public might have. And as soon as we have had that exchange of ideas, then we will come back. We might have a few revised amendments as a result of that. But I think the bill will move forward after we do that amendment, or after we do that meeting, and I'll look forward to discussing it further then. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Councilmember O'Connell. Again, the motion is to defer 1 meeting. Again, that means an indefinite deferral by rule. It's been properly seconded. Any other discussion?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Mr. Cooper, I believe we've already had the committee reports, or do we need to have them repeated? We're good. Okay. So with all committee reports in, please, I would move approval.
Okay. So there is a motion to approve, properly seconded. Any discussion? Councilmember Sledge, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I understand we had the conversations in committee. I know that we've had a lot of discussion over the last couple of weeks regarding one of the properties to be impacted by this. I'm not making a motion right now, but I would ask the sponsor to consider. I have been asked, the team has had questions about not how this obviously affects the 100 feet that we're all, I think, very familiar with regarding the track, but actually how it might affect the other boundaries regarding the development that's been in public conversation the last couple of weeks in terms with the stadium. With that, again, I'm not making a motion to definitely defer. I do fear, given how tenuous all this has been, that this will have an impact, and given that the team's group said that they also fear this will have an impact, I'm just making that request on the floor.
All right, Councilmember Glover, I'm going to go to you.
Mine's pretty simple. This purposely addresses any new stadium facility, and I think, Mr. Cooper, 1,000 seats or greater. If you want to have a parking garage closer in proximity than is recommended by NBA, baseball, everybody else, I think the closest distance is 100 feet. 300 feet from several of the professional sports. But this really just boils down to if we're gonna do it, there needs to be a safety plan, and it needs to go through codes, and it needs to go through the fire marshal, and also that would entail the police department to make sure that however that parking garage is constructed, that someone could not pull in and put the people in danger in the stadium. If it's far enough away, it's pretty standard. Doesn't mean you cannot build it. You just have to have a safety plan that would be approved by codes and would be approved by the fire marshal. So with that, I would ask your vote for it, to approve it and move it on as a safety item. Thank you.
I'm going to go back to Councilmember Sledge. Any other further follow-up questions?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. And I respect the council member's intent here. I just think, and I'm speaking as a district council member, I have gotten indications that this is going to cause a problem, and so I would ask members to vote no.
Okay. I've got a couple more people in the queue. Councilmember Benedict, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. So my questions really are for Mr. Cooper. Do we already have measures like this in place today in our the stadiums that we? Anyway, do we have measures like this in place already today?
Some of the facilities may have safety plans. I don't know, but it hasn't been a requirement.
So my understanding in talking with the multiple parties from the Sports Authority to the fairgrounds and others, that this is not necessary, that they already have plans like this. So although it's not codified, it is something that they currently do. So for me, I just see this as something that's not necessary. And so therefore, I'm going to oppose this. Thank you, Vice Mayor.
All right. Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Allen, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I appreciate the concerns about safety, and I think that's something we all feel like needs to be done correctly. Mr. Cooper, can you tell us what safety plans like this might look like if one were to be created for this particular instance that we're looking at?
So there are safety consultants for stadium uses. I was in my previous role in legal, had some conversations with one of them, and there are measures, if you are within the 100-foot boundary, there are measures that can be taken that can include structural changes to the building. Most commonly, it's the use of, on game days or event days, the use of bomb-sniffing dogs that circle vehicles as they come in. So there are a number of ways that you can address the safety concerns. So it would just be up to a consultant to make what he or she determined to be appropriate and then sign off by codes and fire marshal.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Vercher.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I just want to make sure that I'm understanding the intent of the legislation, and especially because of the lack of public safety resources that we have here in the city as it relates to not just large events, but anything here in the city. Without this ordinance, are they required to have a security plan?
No, ma'am.
So I just want to make sure, without the ordinance, they are not required.
They're not required by local law. They may be required by whatever league they're affiliated with.
Thank you, Attorney Cooper. I'm supporting it.
Okay. All right, thank you, Councilmember. Nobody else in the queue. So Councilmember Glover has moved 2020-115 as amended. It's been properly seconded. I know that we have some negative votes that may be coming, but pursuant to our rules, we do not have to go on the board tonight. All right, so nobody else in the queue. We're ready to vote. All in favor of 2020-115 as amended, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. No. So I believe the ayes have it. All right, show of hands from anybody else. Got it. So we're going to go on the board. Madam Clerk, if you would, we are going to go vote on BL 2020-115 as amended. Again, this is on second reading. The motion is to approve. Madam Clerk, if you would, open up the machines. Okay, we've still got a couple of people that have not voted. Okay. Madam Clerk, I think that's it. If you would, close machines, take the vote.
16 in favor, 22 against, 1 abstention.
All right, so BL 2020-115 fails on second reading because it got a majority of no votes. All right, so the bill is taken down on second reading. BL 2020-148 by Councilmember Benedict, Welsh, and others. Ordinance amending Chapter 4.12 of the Metropolitan Code pertaining to contracts with private operators of detention facilities. Councilmember Benedict, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I have received widespread support from the public, emails, phone calls, and in person. However, understandably, there are concerns about the expenses that may be incurred as the result of this legislation. I believe that I've found a way to fund this change with no additional tax dollars from Nashvillians. And it's important to me that we suss this out so I can definitively explain the cost, and again, hopefully show that there is no cost to Nashvillians, to taxpayers. So I appreciate everybody who came out to the joint committee meeting last week on Thursday, and to give enough time to review all of the finances, I propose pushing this out a bit, especially since the transition timeline in the bill already extends into 2022. So with all that in mind, Vice Mayor, I move to defer until the first meeting in July.
All right, I'm going to get committee reports back, and then I'll come back to you. Budget and Finance, Councilmember Mendez.
At the request of the sponsor, the committee recommended to defer to the first meeting in July, 10 in favor, 0 against.
All right, and Public Safety, Councilmember Johnston.
Public Safety, Beer, and Regulated Beverages also voted 8 in favor, 0 against to defer to the first meeting in July.
All right, thank you. Okay, so back to you, Councilmember Benedict. Your motion is to defer to the first meeting in July.
Can I read all that again, please?
No, you cannot. So the motion is, I got a motion to defer to the first meeting in July, properly seconded. Councilmember Withers, you're recognized.
Just need to be recorded as abstaining.
Okay. All right. So, Madam Clerk, Councilmember Withers needs to be recognized as abstaining on this one. Councilmember O'Connell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to rise in support of Councilmember Benedict, continuing some of the work we began last term to really bring accountability to this issue. I think I stand here in full support of her goal of eliminating the process of private incarceration within Nashville and Davidson County. We now know that we have 2 such scenarios, and I think it is going to be important for the work of this term to make sure that we deliver as much accountability as we can prior to ending the process altogether. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Council Member. Councilmember Sawara.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman. I just wanted to go on record as supporting it as well. From the time that I can remember, everybody talks about what's happening at Core Civic and how it's all about money and people are being, our family being separated, people are getting hurt. And so I think if somebody's not doing well, we don't need to continue doing business with them. And with the public hearing, all I heard was not that they're doing a good job. All I heard is we don't have the money or this is not the good time. So I'm fully in support until we can figure the money part out. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Swope.
Previous question.
Previous question has been called. We're voting on the previous question. All in favor of the previous question say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Previous question prevails. So we are now on the motion to defer BL 2020-148 to the first meeting in July. That was the motion. That's what we're voting on. All those in favor of the motion to defer to the first meeting in July say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. Bill is deferred to the first meeting in July. All right. BL 2020-153 by Councilmember Murphy and Welsh. Ordinance establishing a new fee structure for sidewalk waivers. Councilmember Murphy, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
All right, hold on just a second. Budget and Finance, Councilmember Mendez.
The committee recommended to approve as amended, 9 in favor, 0 against.
All right. Codes, Fair, and Farmers Market, Councilmember Sledge.
Thank you. Vice Chair Withers helped handle as well, but it was approved as amended, 6-4-0 against.
All right. And Councilmember Murphy, Planning and Zoning.
Thank you. Planning also moved to approve as amended, 15 in favor, 0 against.
All right.
And with that, I would like to move the amendment.
All right. So I've got a motion on the amendment, properly seconded. Back to you for an explanation of the amendment.
Thank you. So the amendment makes a little more sense once we get on the bill, but what the amendment does is it triples the fee if it is, if action is taken after a building permit has been issued.
All right, so you've heard an explanation of the amendment. Any questions on the amendment? Seeing none, we're voting on the amendment. All those in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed, no. Amendment prevails. You're back on your bill as amended.
Thank you. A brief explanation of this, although you all have letters on your desk from myself and from Lucy Kemp, Director of Planning, and John Michael, our zoning administrator, who is kind of the head of these sidewalk waivers. Basically, at the end of last term, we did a process under Council Lady Henderson's leadership to provide for waivers for the sidewalk ordinance to be done administratively instead of all of them going through the BZA process and clogging up and really extending those agendas. And so with that, we did not charge a fine or a fee with it. And so being about a year out and given the fact that a large majority of our staff time is being used on these waivers applications, it is timed that we put an application fee on here. And so I asked planning and I asked codes to come together, figure out, calculate how much time was being spent per application, what those salaries were of those employees, calculated out, and they came to $360. I personally was surprised and thought that was pretty low. But that is what they felt they could justify, and under state law, that is how we calculate fines and fees in the matter. So what this does is it puts in place when a developer or property owner is rolling the dice, they do have an application fee now, and that way we can recoup some of the costs that our Metro staff is spending on these projects. And I think that is only fair, and it will lead to more efficiency. The amendment was brought to me after the fact by the Department of Codes, because what they were finding is some people were trying to go ahead and get their building permit by saying, oh, sure, we'll do whatever you want. and then coming back, and our staff was having to recalculate kind of do the whole job over again, and sometimes even do more work. And so with that, like we do with many other permits, or if you don't get a permit but do the work, it is triple the fee. So with that, I welcome any questions, and I ask for approval.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Henderson.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I rise in support of this legislation and thank Council Lady Murphy, our Planning Committee Chair, for bringing it. Public Works staff is involved in this waiver process, as is stormwater and planning. It's a very comprehensive process. It happens regularly, as Council Lady alluded to, implemented through legislation last term. This is something that the development community supports, that staff supports. But it is, while it not so much time in the BZA, it does require a fair amount of staff time because it is a very technical review. And we hope as well that really a higher threshold as to hardship, right? So it's stormwater, public works coming together to really look at the request not to build a sidewalk. And as such, because it requires so much staff time and with technical and subject matter experts, I think this is good legislation. I thank her for bringing it, encourage you to support it as well.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Lee.
Yes, I think my question may have been answered, but because this does sound like it's a lot of work. So I know, well, I won't know, I'll ask. We have looked to see that we've got the people in place and things in place in order to really enforce this so that things won't slip through the cracks and that type of thing, and we won't have some get this and some get that just because we didn't have the pieces in place.
All right, thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Benedict.
I'm sorry. Would
Oh,
you
that
like
was
me to
okay.
answer that?
Okay, Councilmember Murphy.
Thank you.
Sorry.
So as described in the committees, and happy to share with the floor, this is, as council members who were returning know, this is a process we put in place last term. And so new council members, you all have probably gotten emails saying a waiver has been requested in your district. So this is a process that has been taking place for some time, and our staff has been taking on that additional workload without Metro recouping the cost for that time. So where these staff members from the various departments are coming together to evaluate these waivers right now, that means that is time away from doing the rest of their job and other things in their job. And so this is really allowing us to capture the costs that Metro is expending currently, because this is a process that is currently happening and will continue to happen. And hopefully what it will do is I mean, you know, a lot of different things. Does this mean that we are able to recoup and pay for new employees? I don't know. That is something that we'll discuss in the budget time. But I think what is most important is that at the end of the day, our staff members in Metro are spending time on applications that are free roll of the dice, that people are applying without having to pay a fee. And I can't think of, off the top of my head, I'm sure somebody else tonight could give me an example, but I can't think of another application you apply to the government for without having to pay a fee. And so I think it's just, what this really is about is recouping the cost of our employees to provide a service to our constituents.
Thank you for that lengthy response.
Anytime, Council Lady, I got you.
Councilmember Lee, I'm just checking. Any other questions before I cut you off? All right, thank you. All right, Councilmember Benedict, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Chair. I appreciate the sponsors' work on this. As the immediate past chairperson of the special, now the Special Committee on Sidewalks, which I believe our work is done there. So I say the immediate past chair. This is not something that we actually addressed in the Sidewalk Committee. However, this is a fantastic idea. One of the things that we looked at is this waiver process and how this is different from the prior processes that we had with regards to sidewalk variances. This is a great thing for the city, and you know, as again, this is not something that we discussed directly, but I see from my work on that committee, I believe I could speak for the committee in saying this would be supported by them, but it certainly is supported by me. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Benedict, and I'll add that your work is never done. So don't you think that. All right, Councilmember Swope, you're recognized.
Previous question.
Previous question has been called, so we're voting on the previous question. All in favor of the previous question, say aye. Opposed, no. Previous question prevails. We're now back on BL 2020-153 by Murphy and Welsh. The motion is to approve the measure on second as amended and properly seconded. We're on the motion to approve. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion is approved. We're now on BL 2020-162 by Councilmember Allen, Hurt, and others. Ordinance amending Chapter 10.18 of the Metropolitan Code to prohibit vaping on hospital grounds and within the public right-of-way in the vicinity of hospital entrances. Councilmember Allen, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Committee reports, please.
So Health and Hospitals, Councilmember Hurt, you're recognized.
Yes, Health and Hospitals and Social Services voted 6 in favor for the proposed amendment. And should I read what the amendment says?
You can certainly do that if you'd like.
Okay. It basically says that this is also going to be opened up to Metro Department of Health facilities, including Lentz Public Health Center, Woodbine Public Health Center, South Nutrition Center, East Public Health Center, and Metro Animal Care and Control Center.
All right. And so you approve the amendment 6-0, and what about
Yes.
the bill as amended?
The bill itself was also approved 6-0.
All right. Thank you, Council Member. Back to you, Council Member Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'd like to move the amendment.
Okay, so there's a motion on the amendment, properly seconded. I think you got a pretty good explanation. Do you want to go back to an explanation
I'll
on the
explain the bill when I get to that. I
Okay,
think the
so you've
amendment's
heard
good.
an explanation on the amendment. I've got two people in the queue, Councilmember Sepulveda and Councilmember Rosenberg, on the amendment.
No, I'm just asking to be recognized after.
Okay, and Councilmember Rosenberg, not, okay. Okay, so hold on. Okay, so Councilmember Allen has moved the amendment, properly seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed, no. Amendment is adopted. You're back on your bill as amended.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'd like to move the bill as amended with a brief explanation.
All right, got a motion on the bill as amended, properly seconded. Back to you.
Thank you. Just want to explain, this bill is an extension of an ordinance that we passed back in 2012 based on state law that allows cities to give hospitals the option to declare no smoking zones outside their entrances and to extend that to as far as 200 feet if they so choose. Just simply based on the option of being able to declare a healthy space where activities that have been proven to have health consequences are not allowed. So this is extending that to include vaping, which is kind of a new thing that's taken us by surprise. There's a growing body of evidence that demonstrates that there are health consequences for that as well. So we checked with the hospitals that had been part of the original bill, St. Thomas, Vanderbilt, and Metro General, and they expressed an interest in having an areas described outside of their entrances that would be included in this bill. So with that, I renew my motion for approval.
All right, so the motion is to approve as amended, 162, properly seconded. Councilmember Sepulveda, you're recognized. Okay, so you want to be recognized after? Okay, I got it. All right. Councilmember Rosenberg, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. And if I understand the sponsor, the hospital is asked to opt into that. Well, that kind of changes my concern, but I'm still curious. I think we all know that secondhand smoking is, secondhand smoke is dangerous, and I'm glad that the change was made, having walked my child, my newborn, out of Baptist through a cloud of smoke. But I was curious if there's any evidence that secondhand vape stuff is dangerous. But now it's just a matter of curiosity, so I'll just find out later. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Rosenberg. All right, Councilmember Swope, you're recognized.
Thank you, Your Honor. As my fellow council lady here just mentioned, we passed a bill 4 years ago, I guess now, basically on the same thing with nicotine products or cigarettes, and I would be an absolute hypocrite vote for this one. I am a smoker, and God bless all the non-smokers out there in the world, but please mark me as a no vote.
Okay. All right, thank you, Councilmember Swope. I have got Councilmember Johnston.
So to piggyback on Councilman what is your name? Rosenberg, sorry. I'm sorry, I'm focused on the question. Sorry. I don't know, I obviously smoking, there's evidence as far as that being harmful. Is there evidence that secondhand vapors are harmful to people around you, or is it just, I don't know, what is that? Because I know that's, anyway, is that harmful?
Councilmember Allen, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I can't speak to be an expert on this, but I do have access to lots of medical journals lying around on my breakfast table that my husband gets. So in flipping through those, I did find that it is not as established as it is for cigarette smoking, because it's certainly something that's fairly new. But there is a growing body of evidence that is expressing concern with that. So it's not to the level of the evidence that we have with regard to secondhand tobacco smoke, but there are beginning to be studies that show that there are problems that should be avoided if possible, especially for young people, which is where the original state legislation was derived from.
Councilmember Johnston.
My only concern would be that I think that the people that are vaping because they're trying to stop smoking, or at least that's been my experience with people that I know that vape. And what I would hate to do is those people are there to visit their loved ones. They're there in happy times and in sad times. And if it's not absolutely harmful for people around them to push them away from close to the door, or whatever the perimeter is. I just don't, for someone that's trying to do the right thing or trying to do something better for themselves, I get it, it's probably harmful for them. I would just be concerned that we would be punishing someone for trying to do the right thing.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Johnston. Councilmember O'Connell, point of order.
Yeah, is it possible to revisit the calling of roll? Should we do that for Councilmember Johnston's benefit?
Okay. I think we're going to not recognize you now. Okay, let me just turn you off. All right. So I'm at Councilmember Bradford. I believe that's your correct name. Where is he? There he is.
Yes, it is, Mr. Vice Mayor. This bill, the vaping issue, I've had issues with it since the state government started banning it, because I see that only became an issue because it started taking money away from the nicotine business. So until I see more information about the harmful effects, go ahead and mark me as a no on this.
Okay.
Can't be marked no on second reading.
All right. So we're just double checking. You can't be marked no. We just have no's recognized, but you're not marked no because we're on second reading. All right. Councilmember Sledge, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. So I was just typing in the Google machine while people were talking. So currently, there are more than 900 municipalities that have passed legislation like this. There are 19 states that have passed legislation like this. And the concern, and when I say like this, what I mean is it bans the use of e-cigarettes where you have no smoking zones otherwise. That's generally how this legislation is written. And the concern seems to be not so much the same kind of smoke that you would get from a cigarette, but what occurs in the vape, like aerosols and glycerins and other things that can can coat somebody's lungs if they're nearby. So it does appear that there has been enough health risk. Again, this is a relatively new use, but it seems like with more that we learn about it, none of the news is good. So as these other municipalities and states have taken action, I think it's entirely appropriate that we do the same and prohibit this vaping like it says in the bill, and I would ask for colleague support.
All right. Thank you, Councilmember Sledge. Councilmember, I think it's Rosenberg? Yeah. Okay, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Councilmember What's-Her-Face, Jefferson or whatever up here made something else come to mind. With the amendment, would this apply to like the service entrance at, will this stop one of our overworked Metro Animal Control folks from going to the service entrance and vaping? Thank you.
So are you asking a question to
I am.
Councilmember Jefferson or
Definitely not.
Councilmember
I'll go
Allen?
with Councilmember Allen.
Councilmember Allen, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. What's your name? So I have contacted each of these agencies and asked them to send me the list of their preferred locations and have simply put in what they've sent me back. So I can't speak to, in some of the hospitals, they were very specific about which entrances those were, but in most of them, they simply gave me an address of the, quote, entrance to the hospital. Whether the back door is considered an entrance is something that we can debate and try to have a better answer for on the third reading. I'm happy to look into that.
Councilmember Rosenberg.
Thank you, and I appreciate that answer. I'm more, I guess, directing the question towards not the private entities, but the Metro facilities, where we actually are making the call ourselves versus authorizing them, like Metro Animal Control. Did Metro Animal Control say that they, okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Councilmember Allen.
Excuse me, that list came from Metro Health.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Hancock.
So in 2018, the Surgeon General did say that the effect of vaping, especially the aerosol and the vapor, can cause throat and respiratory illness. So if you're already feeling a little sick or have a sore throat, which you might often be going in or out of the hospital, you could feel much worse. But those with pre-existing lung or breathing conditions are also at worse. So if you have asthma or any related condition, the effects of secondhand vaping can be heightened. And this is, a little bit of what we did have someone coincidentally talk about earlier, is the increased asthma we've had in Nashville in the last 6 years. And just to comment on the thought that we might be concerned about the tobacco companies, had a heightened debate with a tobacco company when I was overseas in 2014, because they were very sensitive to the fact that we might imply that anyone could get addicted to e-cigarettes, because they are indeed backing them as well. So it's all a big part of the same machine.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Young, you're recognized.
Previous question.
Previous question has been called by Councilmember Young. We're on the previous question. All those in favor of the previous question say aye. Opposed say no. Well, I believe that the ayes won, but we're going to try that one more time. We're on the previous question. We're not on the bill. Previous question. All those in favor of the previous question say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Previous question prevails. That was clear that time. So we are on Councilmember Allen's Bill 2020-162 as amended. The motion is to approve 162 as amended. We're on the bill. All those in favor of the bill say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Okay, the bill prevails on second reading. We are now on BL 2020-163. BL 2020-163, Councilmember Sledge, Murphy, and Henderson. Ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon an existing public sanitary sewer main and easements, and to accept new sanitary sewer main, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for property located at 1131 4th Avenue South. Councilmember Sledge, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee report.
Planning and Zoning, Councilmember Murphy.
15 in favor, 0 against.
Public Works, Councilmember Henderson.
Public Works recommends approval, 8 in favor, 0 against.
All right, back to you, Councilmember Sledge.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Move approval.
A motion is to approve on second, properly seconded. Councilmember Hauser, you're recognized.
My request to speak was on the previous bill, so it just didn't go off.
Okay, all right. Well, so that bill was on second reading. You can talk on third reading. Okay. I'll remember that when we come back to it. All right, so the motion is to approve on 2020-163 on second reading. Motion is to approve properly seconded. Any other discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. BL 2020-164 by Taylor, Murphy, and others, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon existing public sanitary sewer main, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements, and to accept new sanitary sewer main, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for property located at 2300 Patterson Street. Councilmember Taylor, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Committee reports.
Planning and Zoning, Councilmember Murphy.
15 in favor, 0 against.
Public Works, Councilmember Henderson.
8 in favor, 0 against.
All right, back to you, Councilmember Taylor.
Thank you. I'd like to move for approval.
Motion is to approve on second reading, properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. So, okay. All right, so I am going to recognize Councilmember Sepulveda for a request. Councilmember Sepulveda, sorry that I cut you off before, but you're recognized.
Thank you. So I want to have a motion to reconsider on Bill 2020-195 with a brief explanation.
All right, so let me explain where we are, and Mr. Cooper can recognize, make sure we've done this right. We're on Rule 37, which is a motion to rescind action. And any affirmative action of the council may be rescinded by 2/3 vote of the full membership of the council, 27 votes. So, Councilmember Sepulveda, what you're asking for is to reconsider the action of the council tonight on BL 2020-195.
To rescind action.
To rescind action on what the council did. That bill was on first reading, so I'm going to recognize you for an explanation of what you're doing.
Yes, so I had to speak to a constituent in the back, and so I wasn't here to ask for approval on first reading and defer it 2 meetings to have the next meeting in April for it.
All right, so what you want to do is you want to rescind our action of approving it on first to knock it off of bills on first consideration, and then you want us to take it up separately.
Yes.
Is that right? Mr.
Maybe.
Cooper?
So when you said right now it's scheduled for the April public hearing. So you want May or April?
I want to defer it 2 meetings. So whatever date that is, I just need time to have another community meeting.
So 2 public hearings.
Yes.
Okay, so that would be to the May public hearing.
Okay.
What? Sorry, I'm sorry. 2 meetings. So April's when I want it.
Well, it's already going to the April public hearing.
Got it?
So it sounds like you don't have to rescind your action.
Yeah, I'm good then.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Unmove. Oh, withdraw. Unmove. You would have thought I would learn.
All right, so,
You would have thought I would have
to
learned
do
my
anything.
lesson with Kathleen Murphy.
The prior action.
So we do not have to vote on a motion to unmove. So we are, but that would have been a first. I'd never heard that one before. All right, so we don't have to do anything. We're clear and we're good to go. Councilmember Rosenberg, you good with all that? All right, thank you. All right. All right, we are on BL 2020-165 by Councilmember Taylor, Murphy, and others, an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon an existing water main and easements and to accept a new water main and easements for property located at 3186 and 3188 Parthenon Avenue. Councilmember Taylor, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Unmoved committee reports.
All right, Planning and Zoning, Councilmember Murphy.
What? 15 in favor, 0 against.
All right, Public Works, Councilmember Henderson.
8 in favor, 0 against.
All right, back to you, Councilmember Taylor.
I'd like to move approval.
Got a motion to approve, properly seconded. Councilmember Evans, I've got you lit up. Do you want to talk on this bill?
No, I actually wanted to do a point of inquiry about the procedural piece that Councilwoman Sepulveda did.
Sepulveda on the motion to unmove? So
right, well, actually, before that, just, I thought, and I guess I just need clarification, that in order to do what she was doing, that you needed 4 people to second.
So she was really moving to rescind action, which can be done at any time. The motion to reconsider has to be the next order of business and has to have the 4 seconds.
Thanks for clarifying.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we're back on Councilmember Taylor's motion to approve on BL 2020-165. Motion was approved, properly seconded. All those in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt 165. That motion is approved on second reading. BL 2020-166 by Councilmember O'Connell, Murphy, and Henderson. An ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon existing public utility and drainage easements for property located at 1018 Elm Hill Pike. Councilmember O'Connell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to get committee reports, please.
Planning and zoning.
15 in favor, 0 against.
All right, Councilmember Henderson, public.
8 in favor, 0 against.
All right, back to you, Councilmember O'Connell.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move approval.
Got a motion to approve, properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. BL 2020-167. Back to you, Councilmember Taylor. Ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon existing public water and sanitary sewer manholes, and easements, and to accept new water and sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes, potential water main relocations, and easements for 10 properties located on Patterson Street, State Street, and McMillan Street. Councilmember Taylor, you're recognized.
Committee reports, please.
Got Councilmember Murphy, Planning and Zoning.
15 in favor, 0 against.
Councilmember Henderson, Public Works.
8 in favor, 0 against.
Back to you, Councilmember Taylor.
I'd like to move for approval.
Got a motion to approve, properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. BL 2020-168 by Councilmembers Evans, Murphy, and Henderson. Ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to accept new public water main for property located at 7704 Rookwood Court. Councilmember Evans, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Planning and Zoning, Councilmember Murphy.
15 in favor, 0 against.
Councilmember Henderson, Public Works.
8 in favor, 0 against.
Back to you, Councilmember Evans.
I move approval.
Got a motion to approve, properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt on second reading. We are now on bills on third reading. We're on page 8 of the calendar. BL 2019-60, Councilmember Rutherford. This is an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws by changing from AR2A to SP zoning for property located at Pettus Road, unnumbered, at the northeastern corner of Old Hickory Boulevard and Pettus Road. It's 38.49 acres to permit 143 multifamily residential units. Councilmember Rutherford, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to move approval of the bill, and there's an amendment I'd like to move as well.
All right, so let's get. Well, everything's in on this one. So the request is you want to make the you want to move the amendment on the bill. So got a motion on the amendment, properly seconded. Back to you for an explanation of the amendment.
Thank you. The amendment is basically clarifying language that came from a meeting with a community group and our council legal staff to clarify language specifically.
Okay, so you've got a motion to for approval on the amendment. Again, it's been properly seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed say no. Amendment is adopted. You're back on your bill as amended.
I renew my motion, move approval.
All right, so the motion is to approve BL 2019-60 as amended, properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed no. You adopt. Thank you, Councilmember Rutherford. We're on BL 2019-72 by Councilmember Young. Ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws by changing from CS, R10, and RS20 to SP zoning for properties located at Gallatin Pike, unnumbered, 320 Conair Drive and 110 1 Mile Parkway at the southeast corner of Apple Valley Road and Conair Drive, 21.81 acres to permit 442 multi-family residential units. Councilmember Young, you're recognized.
Move to withdraw.
So there is a motion to withdraw. Let me get committee reports first. Councilmember Murphy, Planning and Zoning.
14 in favor and 1 abstention.
On the motion to withdraw?
On the motion to withdraw.
Okay, thank you. So Councilmember Young has moved to withdraw, properly seconded. Councilmember Van Rees, you're recognized.
Yes, I want to be marked as abstention. I agree with Mr. Young's ability to analyze this particular situation in his own district, but disagree with the action being taken and want to be on record as being abstaining from the vote. Thank you.
Okay.
Vice Mayor, would it be better rather than moving to withdraw if I just
withdraw the bill.
Well, so you've already moved to withdraw.
Sure, okay.
And that's been
I was
properly seconded.
trying to prevent the-
What we were checking. Yeah, what we were checking on
Okay.
was we had to go on the board because we have an abstention on third reading. But it's not, we're not voting on the bill, we're actually voting on a motion to withdraw. So any other discussion? What we have before us, we're on BL 2019-72 by Councilmember Young. The motion is to withdraw. It's been properly seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion to withdraw say aye. Opposed, no. The motion is approved, and we have one abstention. Councilmember O'Connell, you're recognized.
Oh, just I'd like to be marked abstaining as well.
Okay, so we have two abstentions. Madam Clerk, you got it? Okay, thank you, Councilmember. All right, we are now on BL 2019-111 by Councilmember Parker, Toombs, and others. An ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, to create certain new zoning districts which prohibit STRP uses and to make minor corrections, all of which is more particularly described in the bill. Councilmember Parker, you are recognized.
Okay, thank you, Vice Mayor. So yeah, this is a bill that really the genesis of it for me was seeing a lot of development proposals face so much community opposition, specifically over one land use. And in many cases where, multifamily housing or mixed-use development would be appropriate in communities, these projects were facing enormous opposition strictly over this particular land use. So what this bill does is create new multifamily and mixed-use and higher density zoning districts that can be utilized in cases where the developer and the community feel like that is the better option for that parcel. And so this doesn't affect any property upon passage that's out there. It doesn't change any zoning. It doesn't remove any entitlements from any property out there unless an applicant does apply for it and change their property to use one of these new zoning districts. And in addition, this does not create new zoning districts for one or two family zoning, which we felt were adequately addressed with 608, which passed a couple of years ago. And with that, I will move for approval.
Okay, I need to get committee reports.
Oh, excuse me.
That's okay. Planning and Zoning, Councilmember Murphy.
15 in favor, 0 against.
All right, so back to you, Councilmember Parker, you are moving for approval on third reading.
Yes.
Okay, properly seconded. I've got people in the queue. Councilmember O'Connell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to commend Councilmember Parker and his co-sponsors on this. I think this is good legislation. It adds another tool that gives us some more granularity. I think we've taken as an important step as a body since short-term rentals were first permitted in Nashville, ensuring that non-owner occupied rentals were excluded from residential zoning districts. This, though, speaks to the recognition that even other types of land use policy might want to restrict this use in order to make it more generally appropriate for community. I think I've got a bill moving that would look at the kind of redefining owner-occupied. One question I had for the sponsor previously had been whether this prohibits owner-occupied permits as well. It currently does. I think I'm inclined to support this. See if we can get my bill established, tightening up some of the abuses we've seen in the owner-occupied permit space as well, and then revisit, because I know there are some neighborhoods that would like to make more extensive use of this, but are a little bit reluctant to give up the current flexibilities around owner-occupied permits. So I think we'll revisit it then. But again, I'm supporting this tonight, and again, commend Councilmember Parker. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Sawara.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. When it comes to STR, it's very difficult, especially for an at-large. You have people that are supporting it, and you have people that are opposed to it. I understand the need for people to be able to make money considering the financial situation of things, but I also understand neighborhoods' concern about security and noises and things in their neighborhood. So I support this bill because I think it gives option, and so it allows neighborhood to be able to decide whether they want STR in that development or not. And I also like the fact that it doesn't apply to anything that's in existence right now. So being able to have that option is able to take care of both factions, so I support it.
All right, thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Taylor.
Yes. Councilmember Parker, thank you so much for this legislation. But as an owner of a short-term rental permit, I will have to abstain.
Okay, all right, thank you. Councilmember Roberts, you're recognized.
I'd like to be marked as abstaining as well, please.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Johnston?
I need to abstain as well.
Okay. Councilmember Young.
Previous question.
Previous question has been called. We're on the previous question. All in favor of the previous question, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Previous question prevails. So we are on, let me make sure we're all clear where we are. BL 2019-111 by Councilmember Parker, Toombs, and others. The motion is to approve. It's been properly seconded. Okay, so we're going to need to go on the board. All right, so hold on just a second. Okay, so we are voting on BL 2019-111. Madam Clerk, you ready? Okay, if you would, open up the machines. Everybody voted who wanted to vote? Okay, I believe that's it. Madam Clerk, if you would, close machines, take the vote.
33 in favor, 2 against, 4 abstentions.
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. BL 2019-111 passes on third reading. Okay. Right, we're on BL 2116 as amended by Councilmember Hager, Pulley, and others. An ordinance, Title 13 of the Metropolitan Code to provide for a modern symbol of access for disabled persons to be used on Metropolitan government property and rights of way. Councilmember Hager, you're recognized.
Well, I appreciate that, Vice Mayor. Move for passage. I think all of this has been approved.
That's right.
As amended.
All right, so Councilmember Hager is moving to approve 2020-116 as amended, properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, we're on third reading. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt 2020-116 as amended on third reading. BL 2020-121 by Councilmember Murphy, Henderson, and O'Connell. Ordinance to amend the Geographic Information System Street and Alley Centerline layer for the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by abandoning a portion of Ensworth Avenue right-of-way from Ensworth Avenue to Woodlawn Drive between certain parcels. Councilmember Murphy, you are recognized.
Thank you. With having to hold this for a long time to get the developers to play nice with neighbors, I am very excited to move for final approval.
All right, I got a motion to approve, properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. BL 2020-122 by Councilmember Roten. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by changing from CL to SV zoning for property located at 600 Stewart's Ferry Pike, at the corner of Stewart's Ferry Pike and McCrory Creek Road, and within a commercial plan unit development overlay district. It's 19.04 acres to permit a mixed-use development. Councilmember Roten, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Do you want to do 122 and 123 together?
Yep, I'll do 123 together.
Committee reports, please.
2020-123, let me just read it real quick. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by canceling a portion of a commercial plan unit development overlay district located at 600 Stewart's Ferry Pike, corner of Stewart's Ferry Pike and McCrory Creek Road, zone CL, 19.04 acres. All right, so Councilmember Roten has called for committee reports on both 122 and 123. Councilmember Murphy.
15 in favor, 0 against on both.
All right, back to you, Councilmember Roten.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Move approval.
Okay, got a motion to approve on 122 and 123. Properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. BL 2020-124 by Councilmember Toombs. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by changing from R10 to C, R10 CS and CL to SP zoning for properties located at 3720, 3724, 3726, 3730, and 3800 Clarksville Pike and Bellafield Avenue, unnumbered at the intersection of Lawrence Avenue and Bellaford Avenue. It's 11.23 acres to permit a mixed-use development. Councilmember Toombs, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee report.
Planning and zoning, Councilmember Murphy.
15 in favor, 0 against.
Councilmember Toombs.
Move for approval.
Got a motion to approve on third reading, properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. BL 2020-125 by Councilmember Pulley. An ordinance to amend Title 17 by changing from R15 to RM15 zoning for property located at 11 Burton Hills Boulevard at the eastern corner of Burton Hills Boulevard and 7 Hills Boulevard and located within a residential plan unit development overlay district. It's 9.52 acres. Councilmember Pulley, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Would you like to take 125 and 126 together?
126, without objection. Ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws by amending a portion of residential plan unit development overlay district for property located at 11 Burton Hills Boulevard at the eastern corner of 7 Hills Boulevard and Burton Hills Boulevard, Zone R15, 9.52 acres, to permit a residential development consisting of nursing home, assisted care living, and multifamily independent living units. Councilmember Pulley, you're recognized on both measures.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Murphy, you're recognized.
I like this efficiency. 15 in favor, 0 against on both.
All right, back to you, Councilmember Pulley.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Move approval.
Got a motion to approve 2020-125 and 2020-126 on third reading. Properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt 125 and 126 on third reading. Bill 2020-128 by Councilmember Hager. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by changing from RS20 to MUN zoning for property located at 3821 Old Hickory Boulevard, approximately 270 feet southeast of Lakeshore Drive, 0.38 acres. Councilmember Hager, you are recognized.
Committee report, I believe, I see from
That's
Planning
right.
and Zoning.
Councilmember Murphy, Planning and Zoning.
15 in favor, 0 against.
Councilmember Hager.
Move for approval.
Got a motion to approve on third reading, properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. BL 2020-129 by Councilmember O'Connell. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by changing from R6A to SP zoning for properties located at 1400 Arthur Avenue, 1400A Arthur Avenue, and a portion of property located at 1006 Monroe Street, approximately 100 feet north of Monroe Street. It's 0.36 acres to permit 6 multifamily residential units. Councilmember O'Connell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to get committee reports, please.
All right, I think we can do 130 at the same time, if that's okay.
It's fine with me. They are really companion pieces. We did them separately in committee, but I'm happy to take them together. And if we do that, I'd like to do a brief
I'm
explanation.
thrilled to do them together at 15 in favor,
Okay.
0 against from Planning, Zoning, and Historical.
You're getting too
Do
fast
we even
for me.
need the vice mayor?
I think we might be able to move forward without him. Or
Maybe
move.
so. All right, so it is usually proper for me to read the caption, so let me try that one. BL 2020-130 by Councilmember O'Connell, ordinance to amend Title 17 by applying a neighborhood landmark overlay district on a portion of property located at 1006 Monroe Street at the corner of Arthur Avenue and Monroe Street, Zone R6A. It's 0.35 acres. So we're on BL 2020-129 and BL 2020-130. Now, Councilmember O'Connell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to move both of these bills with a brief explanation.
All right, so I think I got the committee reports in there somewhere.
Yes, sir.
So both of the committee approved both of these measures. Councilmember O'Connell has moved for passage on third reading of 129 and 130. Properly seconded. Back to you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I briefly addressed this immediately after the public hearing, but this is something that people in the community have been very excited about, the prospect of preserving the Timor Willis House in perpetuity. This allows for some of the parcels in the immediate vicinity to be redeveloped in a way that's still very appropriate for the context and will actually landmark that house. And so I think it's a big win for the neighborhood, and the developer has been great to work with and understands both character and preservation and has done some projects that speak to that already. And I think this is just something I'm excited to see come to resolution on third reading tonight, so I'd like to renew my motion. Thank you.
All right, so the motion is to approve both 129 and 130 on third reading. Both have been properly seconded. Any discussion on either bill? Seeing none, all those in favor of 2021-29 and 2021-30, say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. BL 2021-31 by Councilmember Van Rees. An ordinance to amend Title 17 by changing from R10 to OR20A zoning for properties located at 100 and 102 Shields Lane, approximately 260 feet west of Briarville Road. It's .98 acres. Councilmember Van Rees, you're recognized.
Committee report, please.
Councilmember Murphy.
15 in favor, 0 against.
Councilmember Van Rees, you're back to you.
Move approval.
Got a motion to approve on third reading, properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, we're voting on 2021-31 on third reading. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. Bill 2021-35 by Councilmember Parker. This is an ordinance to amend Title 17 by changing from RS5 to R6A zoning for property located at 838 Lishy Avenue. It's approximately 50 feet south of Cleveland Street, .2 acres. Councilmember Parker, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to move for approval.
Okay, I got to get a committee report from
Excuse me.
That's all right, from Councilmember
Kathleen.
Murphy.
15 in favor, 0 against.
Thank you. Back to you, Councilmember Parker.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to move for approval.
Got a motion to approve. We're on 2021-35. Properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. We're on BL 2020-136 by Councilmember O'Connell. It's on the bottom of page 11 of your calendar, of your agenda. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by changing from R6A to SP zoning for properties located at 1711 and 1713 Fifth Avenue North. It's approximately 245 feet north of Garfield Street and within the Sandtown Neighborhood Conservation Overlay. .43 acres to permit 7 multifamily residential units. Councilmember O'Connell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to request committee reports, please.
Councilmember Murphy.
15 in favor, 0 against.
Councilmember O'Connell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to move approval with a brief comment.
Got a motion to approve, properly seconded. Back to you for a brief comment.
Thank you. This one, again, actually is a very nice situation where a developer is developing a vacant lot as well as a lot where the resident will be able to age in place in the new development, and I think it's we've resolved the community concerns on this one, and I'm excited to see this one go forward. Thank you.
All right, so I got a motion to approve on 136 on third reading, properly seconded. No other discussion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. We're on page 12 of the agenda, BL 2020-137 by Councilmember Toombs. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by changing from RS5 to MUNA zoning for properties located at 1201, 1203, 1205, and 1207 Brick Church Pike and Brick Church Pike unnumbered at the southeast corner of Fern Avenue and Brick Church Pike. It's .67 acres. Councilmember Toombs, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee report.
Councilmember Murphy.
15 in favor, 0 against.
Councilmember Toombs.
Move for approval.
Got a motion to approve on third reading, properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. BL 2020-138 by Councilmember Withers. Ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws by changing from CN to MUNA zoning for property located at 1400 Fatherland Street, at the southeast corner of Fatherland Street and South 14th Street, and within the Laughlin Springs East End Neighborhood Conservation Overlay District and the Fine Points Redevelopment Overlay District. It's .18 acres. Councilmember Withers, you're recognized.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'd like to request committee reports, please.
Planning and Zoning, Councilmember Murphy.
15 in favor, 0 against.
Councilmember Withers, back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'd like to move approval.
Got a motion to approve, properly seconded. Any discussion? We're on 2020-138. Councilmember Withers, we're on page 12 of the agenda. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. BL 2020-142 by Councilmember Syracuse. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by amending a specific plan on properties located at 1590, 1600, 1602, and 1604 Lebanon Pike, approximately 400 feet east of Spence Lane. Zone SP, it's 2.93 acres to permit 79 multifamily residential units. Councilmember Syracuse, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Murphy, Planning and Zoning.
15 in favor, 0 against.
Back to you, Councilmember Syracuse.
Move approval.
We're on 2020-142. It's a proper motion, properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. 2020-142 is passed on third reading. BL 2020-143 by Councilmember Parker. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by changing from IR to MUGA zoning for property located at 186 North 1st Street at the southwest corner of Oldham Street and North 1st Street. It's 4.10 acres. Councilmember Parker, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Murphy.
15 in favor, 0 against.
Councilmember Parker.
Move for approval, please.
Got a motion to approve. We're on BL 2020-143. Councilmember Parker has moved for approval. Properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt on third reading. BL 2020-144 by Councilmember O'Connell. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by changing from IR to SP zoning for property located at 1228 4th Avenue North. It's approximately 40 feet south of Monroe Street and within the Philip Jackson Street Redevelopment Overlay District and Germantown Historic Preservation Overlay District. It's 0.40 acres to permit 6 multifamily residential units. Councilmember O'Connell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to request committee reports, please.
Councilmember Murphy.
15 in favor, 0 against.
Councilmember O'Connell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to move approval with a brief comment.
Got a motion to approve, properly seconded. Back to you, Councilmember O'Connell.
Just excited to be delivering housing that we know will be housing in Germantown. Thank you.
It's very important. Housing that will be housing. I like that. So we're on 2020-144 by Councilmember O'Connell. He's moved to approve on third reading. It's been properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. BL 2020-145 by Councilmember Toombs. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by changing from RS10 to R6A zoning for properties located at 2850 Buena Vista Pike, 2908 and 2912 Stokers Lane and Stokers Lane unnumbered at the southeast corner of Buena Vista Pike and Stokers Lane, 0.75 acres. Councilmember Toombs, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee report.
Councilmember Murphy.
Another shocking 15 favor, 0 against.
Back to you, Councilmember Toombs.
Move for approval.
Got a motion to approve on third reading, properly seconded. Any discussion? We are voting on 2020-145 on third reading. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. BL 2020-146 by Councilmember Lee. This is an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws by changing from AR2A to RS10, zoning for property located at 3631 Pinhook Road. At the southwest corner of Pinhook Road and Hobson Pike, it's 24.03 acres. Councilmember Lee, you're recognized.
Yes, I'd like to ask for committee reports, please.
Planning and Zoning, Councilmember Murphy.
Deferred by rule.
Okay, then I would like to move to defer this for one meeting, please.
All right, so the motion, we're on 2020-146. The motion is to defer this bill one meeting, properly seconded. Any discussion on the deferral motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the deferred motion say aye. Opposed, no. 2020-146 is deferred one meeting. Okay. BL 2020-150 as amended by Councilmember Allen, Sledge, and O'Connell. And while she's walking up to the microphone, I would like to recognize former Councilmember Fabian Bedney, who is sitting in the back. Thank you for being here. Councilmember Allen, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Do I need committee reports?
No, I think they're all in.
Awesome, great. Then I would like to move approval with a
So
brief
Councilmember
explanation.
Allen has moved for approval, properly seconded. Any discussion? Back to you.
Brief explanation?
Sure.
So this is a bill that we're excited about, hopefully that will help increase the stock of affordable housing, which is an issue that we talk about a lot in this council and other issues. We had a bill last year that Councilmember Sledge sponsored that created a move to the front of the line process for houses that met a certain threshold for affordability with regard to approvals of code approvals. And this would simply add some of the inspections and permits that were not included in that last go-round so that hopefully that can further expedite that process. So with that, I renew my motion for approval.
All right, so we're on 2020-150 as amended. Councilmember Allen has moved passage on third, properly seconded. Councilmember Sledge, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I just wanted to offer a quick word of thanks to the sponsor. She worked well on this, and I think we've
been able to work together well to improve each other's legislation. And one other note, as chair of the Housing Committee, she's been working to ensure that there's more of an automatic process so that when somebody has a qualifying project, it's flagged in City Works and it's not the onus is not on the applicant like it was previously. So all around, we're doing good work in the Housing Committee.
All right, great. Thank you. Any other discussion? We're on 2020-150 as amended, a passage on third. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. Bill 2020-152 as amended, Councilmember Hurt, O'Connell, and Taylor. Ordinance providing the honorary street name designation of Reverend Ben Sweat Way for a portion of Cheatham Place. Councilmember Hurt, you're recognized.
Yes, Mr. Vice Mayor, thank you very much. I'd ask for approval with a small, brief comment.
All right, so the motion is to approve on third reading, properly seconded. Back to you for comment.
Thank you. Just wanted to recognize the beloved pastor for a long time, Reverend Ben Sweat, who passed away last year, and the members loved him, how he was so engaged in the community and just took very good care of his congregation. And to honor him and all of the wonderful things he did, the community and congregation wanted to give him that designation for a small portion in that community.
That's very nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember O'Connell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Councilmember Hurt and I attended the installation ceremony at Mount Bethel for Pastor Jacques Boyd, and I just wanted to celebrate Councilmember Hurt's leadership on this issue as well as one for New Hope. She is doing a wonderful job recognizing these important moments in the community, and I'm very honored to be a partner with her in doing this and look forward to helping the congregation celebrate this. So I just wanted to give her a shout out. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other comments? All right, we are on BL 2020-152 as amended. Voting for it on third reading. It has been properly seconded. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. BL 2020-152 as amended passes on third reading. We're now on page 14 of a 15-page calendar. BL 2020-154 is amended by Councilmember O'Connell, Mendez, and others. An ordinance approving Amendment 2 to the lease agreement between the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County through the Department of Public Works and OP 611 Commerce Property LLC related to parking spaces in the Metropolitan Government's parking facility located at 151 6th Avenue North. Councilmember O'Connell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. We did not, I guess there must have been a clerical error here. We did not get this actually referred to the Traffic, Parking, and Transportation Committee with a noticed agenda. As chair, though, I think having been a part of the discussion in Public Works, I am comfortable moving this rather than deferring it. We had considerable discussion in the Public Works Committee, so I guess if anybody does have any questions about the nature of the contract, we had a variety of comments on it and questions, so I'm comfortable moving this if it's possible. If I need to suspend the rules, we can, or if it's better to defer, we can do that, I guess.
You can, listening to Mr. Cooper, you can move ahead. You've got committee reports in, so you can move passage if you want.
Okay, I will go ahead and move passage of Bill 2020-154, having I mean, you can see it's been to the Traffic and Parking Commission, to 4 of our committees, and I'm satisfied with the opportunity to have reviewed the contract.
All right, so the motion is to approve 2020-154 as amended on third reading, properly seconded. Any discussion on this bill? Seeing none, we're on a motion to approve. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. BL 2020-155 by O'Connell, Murphy, and Henderson, ordinance authorizing Oliver, McMillan, Spectrum, Emery, LLC to install, construct, and maintain underground encroachments on the right-of-way located at 500 Broadway. Councilmember O'Connell, you are recognized again.
Thank you, Mr. President. And again, on this bill, it was supposed to have been re-referred to the Public Works Committee, but was not noticed on that agenda. I guess, could I maybe ask for Councilmember Henderson to be recognized just for a comment on this if she chooses?
So, Councilmember Henderson, we're on BL 2020-155. According to the sheet, it looked like it was approved by you all and then was supposed to be re-referred back to you all. Any comments? We can proceed ahead, but the question is, do you want to make any comments?
I guess maybe the most appropriate thing to do here would be to move approval and then seek to ensure that Councilmember Henderson gets recognized. If you have discretion to do that ahead of time, then go ahead.
Well, so what you're doing is you're asking for approval on third reading.
Correct.
properly seconded. I'll go to Councilmember Henderson.
Thank you, Vice Mayor, and thank you, Councilman O'Connell. We had requested a re-referral to our committee because I think Councilman O'Connell and I had understood that perhaps within the public right-of-way where these underground encroachments, these were being requested, that there had perhaps been some damage to public infrastructure during construction. And so we just had questions to staff regarding that. Because it was not on our agenda, we did not address it before the committee. But I think Councilman O'Connell and I got our questions answered. And so I believe it was the will of the committee to approve it because we had approved it on second pending those questions being answered. So I'm not sure.
Well, so
what's in
I guess
order.
Councilmember Henderson, I'm just asking if we can approve tonight. If there are still questions remaining, it's up to the sponsor or it's up to you. You can always move to defer one meeting and make sure everything is answered.
No questions remain. They have been addressed.
All right. So it looks like, thank you, Councilmember O'Connell, for recognizing Councilmember Henderson. Sounds like things are good. You can proceed tonight if that's what you'd like to do.
That
And
is
you've
what
got a
I'd like to
motion
do.
on the floor.
Yes, sir. I'd like to renew that motion. Thank you.
All right. So I got a motion to approve 2020-155, properly seconded. Councilmember Hurt, you're recognized.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to pay the compliment back to our sponsor on this particular bill because this is the place that's going to house the National Museum of African American Music, and the CEO of the museum was on Good Morning America just earlier this week speaking on the museum, and I just wanted to thank him and this council for supporting this effort. It's been a long time coming, and we're really excited about it, and just wanted to make that acknowledgement.
Councilmember O'Connell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate that, and these encroachments will actually support the opening of the National Museum of African American Music. And if anybody has not yet become a member of that museum, you can do so today, even before they open. It'd be great to see them be a part of the strong presence of new opportunities there at 5th and Broadway. So thank you, Councilmember Hurt, for that. I'm happy to move forward with this at this time.
All right, so we're on 2020-155. Actually saw part of that story on CBS. We are ready to vote on this. This is proceeding on 2020-155 on third reading. Again, properly seconded. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. Bill 2020-156 by Councilmember O'Connell, Murphy, and Henderson. Ordinance authorizing 7th Avenue North Nashville Hotel Owner LLC to install, construct, and maintain underground encroachments in the right-of-way located at 7110 Demonbreun. Councilmember O'Connell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to move to suspend the rules to see if we can get Councilmember Bedney up to the podium for old time's sake on the next few bills here.
So I see already two hands that are trying to reject that. So back to you, Councilmember O'Connell.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I will move approval.
Got a motion to approve, properly seconded. We're on 2020-156. All those in favor of the measure say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. Bill 2020-157 by Councilmember O'Connell. Ordinance authorizing Nashville Downtown Partnership to install, construct, and maintain underground encroachments in the right-of-way located at 200B Lifeway Plaza. Councilmember O'Connell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to move approval. Brief comment.
Got a motion to approve, properly seconded. Back to you, Councilmember O'Connell.
And we, again, briefly discussed this last time after.
Well, somehow you popped off. There you go.
Well,
Sorry.
it was briefer than I thought. Great to see another opportunity for bike share in the urban core here. This has been something that residents have been asking me about for a long time. So really excited to see the partnership responding to that, having the opportunity to get this in place in Capitol View as we've got a new park, new greenway spur, and some more connectivity there as the Gulch kind of reaches Capitol View. So I'd like to renew my motion. Thank you.
All right, so we're on BL 2020-157. The motion is to approve on third reading. It's been properly seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. Bill 2020-158 by Councilmember Roberts, Murphy, and Henderson. Ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon existing easement rights located at 4918B Michigan Avenue between alley number 1206 and Michigan Avenue, which is formerly known as 50th Avenue North. Councilmember Roberts, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'd like to move for approval.
Got a motion to approve on third reading. It's been properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. BL 2020-159 by Councilmember O'Connell, Murphy, and Henderson. Ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon existing easement rights located between 701 7th Avenue South and 700 8th Avenue South, south of Fogg Street and north of alley number 196, formerly known as alley number 160. Councilmember O'Connell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to move approval.
Got a motion to approve on third reading, properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. BL 2020-160 by Councilmember O'Connell, Murphy, and Henderson. Ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon existing sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes, easements and to accept new sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for property located at 801 12th Avenue South. Councilmember O'Connell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to move approval.
Got a motion to approve on third reading. It's been properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. BL 2020-161 by Councilmember Taylor, Murphy, and others. Ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon existing sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for properties located along Clifton Avenue. Councilmember Taylor, you're recognized. Hold on, let me get you. Now say it.
Thank you, Mr. President. Committee reports.
Councilmember Murphy, you're recognized.
15 in favor, 0 against.
All right, back to you, Councilmember Taylor.
Thank you. I'd like to move for approval.
Got a motion to approve on third reading. It's been properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. Two things. I'm filing a late bill that will make sure that we introduce Councilmember Johnston to Councilmember Rosenberg between the next meeting. Remember, excuse me, what? You're seconding the motion. That's good. All right. So two things. Please remember to vote March the 3rd, and remember the next council meeting will not be on Tuesday, March the 3rd. It will be on Thursday, March the 5th at 6:30. I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Got a motion to adjourn, properly seconded. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. We're adjourned.
The council has concluded about a 2-hour and 15-minute meeting tonight. Normally the council meeting starts at 6:30, a little delayed tonight, started about 6:45. So again, about 2 hours and 15 minutes going through a 14 to 15-page agenda. Some of the things that are important to note tonight, first, the council on third and final reading approved a bill that would set up for the first time some NS zoning, NS being no short-term rentals. That would be in a number of different zoning districts. It would be allowed. It doesn't change anybody's current zoning. It doesn't change any or restrict anybody's way of using property right now. It does set up alternative zoning districts that could be used for future rezoning if indeed that is what the neighborhood wants, or indeed if council members want to do that. So watch this space. This has been a hot button issue and probably will be coming back in other forms to the council in future meetings. Another bill that was deferred tonight would have prohibited Metro to entering into new contracts or renewing existing contracts with private business contractors. A lot of concerns about the cost of that. Proponents say think this can be done, not to do business with private contractors for corrections can be done without any future or additional cost to taxpayers. But the concern is great enough that this is now going to be put off for council consideration again, not until the first meeting in July. Council also deferred again tonight another hot button issue that's been up at the council quite a bit, not just this council, but the last council. They deferred on second reading a bill that would once again set up some regulations on how to handle scooters, or as the council calls them in their bills, shared urban mobility devices. The problem is that the city would like to get out with another RFP to limit the size of the fleets, and also perhaps the number of people and number of fleets, the number of companies involved to do that. That RFP is not quite done yet, so while the bill's being indefinitely deferred tonight, it could be back maybe sometime in March or April, because there's going to be a public hearing on what the RFP is going to contain on February 25th, and that may move the matter further along. Also tonight, the council had two bills on it that relate to the fairgrounds controversy with the new MLS stadium. One is one that Councilman at Large Steve Glover had that's been up here before that would require a security plan prior to obtaining a building permit for a parking structure constructed near a stadium, arena, or the racetrack. That's some of the concerns between the racetrack and what's going on with the new stadium. Also, there's a lawsuit involved trying to stop the MLS stadium, and this is also another reason they would like to see this stop. They also believe it violates the charter. At this case, Councilman Glover said this is a matter of security. Lots of other professional teams have these kind of security plans and get this kind of approval to do this. Others in the council said that they didn't think it was necessary. And indeed, Councilman Scobey Sledge, who is the district councilman in the fairgrounds area, said in his floor debate that as far as he can tell, this might be something that would hurt the new MLS team, although he did not explain why this particular bill would hurt that. At any rate, the council went along with you. The bill by Councilman Glover was defeated 16 yeses, 22 noes, and 1 abstention. That's the second time a matter like this has been defeated. Councilman Glover brought this up in the previous council, and it failed as a memorializing resolution. There's also a bill that passed on first reading tonight that Councilman Scobey Sledge has that would put a limit on the ability of a mayor to stop projects by refusing to sign things like demolition documents after 30 days. Mayor Cooper did that as part of his negotiations to come up with a new deal, but we thought perhaps the bill might be deferred or withdrawn, but Councilman Sledge went ahead and had it passed on first reading, and we'll see what happens when it comes up for second reading at the next council meeting. Another sign of tough budget times ahead, the council approved a number of different bills tonight that would raise various fines and fees that the city has involved, and those in some cases move on to final approval or move on to third and final reading. Again, they were approved without any real difficulty or controversy. One last bill of note was on second reading tonight, okayed a measure that would ban vaping within 500 to 200 feet of all hospital entrances in any of the health-related facilities. Here in Davidson County, the council also amended it to include metro facilities as well, including those involving animal control. There were some people in the council who raised some questions about whether this is really necessary, like some other councilmen. At that point, apparently consulting Google and other places came up with reasons why health officials think that vaping is a very serious problem and ought to be treated the way smoking is, and there are this kind of bans in terms of the number of feet away and where you can't do it within health facilities about smoking, and these would be similar to that. There would be a $50 fine if you're cited by the police and then convicted on the offense when it comes up in General Sessions Court. Again, that bill passed second reading, will be up again for third and final reading in 2 weeks. Remember, the council will meet next time on Thursday, March 5th. Normally they'd meet on Tuesday, March 3rd, but that's an election day, a federal election day, and when elections fall on a Tuesday, the council rule was that the council would then meet to the following Thursday and not meet on the 2nd, on the 3rd. That's what we'll be doing. At that time, we'll be here at March 5th to provide live coverage. Until then, good night from the council chambers.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.